So President Ramaphosa pats his government on the back for an amazing accomplishment. In this video, I'm going to show you this call for a celebration and go and show you a scary state of affairs in one of our state-owned enterprises. But if you stay with me until the end, we will come up with something that I will ask you to get involved with, because South Africa will prosper. You ready? Press like. Let's hear this great accomplishment with the EPWP, the Expanded Public Works Program, the tax-funded version of the Streetwise 2 and a t-shirt. Here, President Ramaphosa talking about the awesome accomplishment.
Many other countries are looking at what we are doing here, and some of them are going to copycat what we are doing. So we are trailblazers in many, many ways. Even with the EPWP, we became trailblazers because a number of countries are now beginning to look at public employment in the way that we've been executing it. Does not mean there haven't been weaknesses in EPWP, but this is one program where there's not even been corruption. There's not even been any funny process. It's been flawless, it's been well executed, and I met one of the officials. Her name is Lala, and I'm told that she never sleeps because she manages this program with Kate Phillip and many others in the presidency.
Wait, did he say this is so awesome, there has been no corruption? Wow, today is a day of celebration, guys. Let's celebrate. He's not the only one who's done well today. Please celebrate with me in the comments. Today, I didn't mug anybody. Huh? Come on, guys. Celebrate with me. What? There's not supposed to be corruption. How do you add that as one of the things to celebrate? Speaking of corruption, let me play you an interview of this high-level, mass, catastrophic issue we have with one of our state-owned enterprises. Let's hear Musi Maimane tell Mike Sham on Political Insider.
One of the scandals that, seemingly the lid has been taken off is that PetroSA, they do our bulk purchases of energy products, mainly oil. And that's run by Mr. Untouchable himself, the chairman of the ANC, Gwede Mantashe. It's his portfolio. But it seems to be a complete and utter mess, free for all, and money is flowing out there faster than, that oil can flow through the pipelines. What's the future of PetroSA? Is it just going to be a vehicle like we saw with Transnet under Zuma and Eskom, just a looting haven?
PetroSA is going to close. It's only a matter of time. Because, to your point, it's run out of money. 2, it's producing a grade of fuel that's poor. Already there are claims against it about the contaminated nature of fuel that's coming out of PetroSA. Thirdly, that PetroSA in and of itself cannot honor its contract. It doesn't have liquidity. So you think in the midst of load shedding, PetroSA should be the most profitable business in the country. But it is not, because it can't supply diesel to Eskom. Now, you can't have one state entity whose main job is to provide fuel failing in a period where there's high demand for diesel. And then ultimately it's got crony capital benefiting a few. I want to say this categorically and without doubt. PetroSA is going to shut. The reality is that South Africa started a new South African new petroleum company, which they're hoping that will do the job that PetroSA is going to do. But it's an absolute pain, because actually PetroSA isn't just a supplier of fuel. It has all the strategic sites. It has all the places. It's got all the storage facilities for fuel. It's got the opportunity in its distribution network to be able to move fuel around easier in the country. So that they can't make it profitable tells me that it's not about infrastructure. It's not about anything. It's just bad leadership and corruption. And therefore, fire the leadership there. make sure that if you are going to resurrect PetroSA, give them proper contract and give them liquidity rather than the age-old solution in South Africa. When one fails, we start another one that looks the same.
Yeah, and what will be different about the new one that if you say PetroSA is going to shut, who's going to take it over? Will it still be run by deployed cadres?
Well, at this stage in time, the leadership of the South African National Petroleum Company seems they've had a good launch. They've got a very sensible board chair. They've got a really good CEO who's come on board. But all I pray for is that if they do that and they take over the operations of PetroSA, that we must steer political interference away from it. Because if we repeat the same exercise, we're going to achieve the same outcomes. And I am very keen for that business to do well, because South Africa, in as far as its own strategic fuel and the use of institutions like PetroSA, can never be more crucial at a time such as this one.
It just never stops, does it? So this is what's going on with Mantashe's PetroSA. Let's give you the bird's eye view. So in June last year, state-owned PetroSA stole $1 billion worth of cargo of diesel to Naco Energy, a little-known company that did not qualify for credit and had failed to put up payment guarantees. So Naco was given 60 days to pay, but almost a year later, Naco still owes $0.8 billion. The Naco deal is just the tip of the iceberg. PetroSA's financial records show that it's been gambling recklessly by importing cargoes of diesel that couldn't find buyers, resulting in oil tankers sitting offshore for weeks, accumulating 400 million in demurrage fees. These losses, along with PetroSA's price gouging of Eskom, would have come to light sooner if PetroSA, backed by Mantashe, had not hidden the inner workings of its diesel trading business, hiding behind claims of commercial secrecy. What you want to see with PetroSA, look at this. Financial year 2022, 2023, 2024. Look at load shedding. Great business. 2022, Eskom bought 600 million worth of diesel, 82% of it from PetroSA. Following year, just under $1 billion, 800 million of it from PetroSA. Following year, over $1 billion, 84% of it from PetroSA. So same cargo, different price, meaning the margin that PetroSA expected to make on a single cargo of diesel sold to Eskom, they made 30 to 50 million profit. But now the margin that PetroSA would have made if the same cargo was sold to the oil majors would have been nothing. So based on calculations, this is how much PetroSA may have made in financial year 24 from its role as an unnecessary middleman to Eskom. But that's not all. PetroSA pursued a 3-year deal, potentially worth 11 billion, to buy chemically unadulterated unleaded from little-known company Naco Energy. But after only 6 months, the fuel was pulled from the market after many complaints from customers that it was staining the paintwork of their cars. Tests found that the fuel sourced from the UAE was pumped up with this chemical that improves the octane levels of low-quality fuels but leads to other problems, including gum buildup that can damage engines. So despite the adverse test results and alarm from the fuel industry, PetroSA agreed to buy another cargo of the same fuel at over $500 million, which it then struggled to sell. Oh my word. So this is how it works in state-owned enterprises. According to the latest results, the latest audit, 28 public entities submitted their financial statements late. These are people who go to work every day and get to take a salary, but they kind of thought they can be late with getting audited so that the public can know what's going on. All right, so we have Alex Core. We can't even see what the Auditor General thought. Border Management, not looking good. Ingonyama Trust, they were late, and at the end, the financials don't look good. Now we know land is important. That'll be clean audits, right? No! Clean audits is when there's green on the side. Land and Agricultural Bank, Land Bank Insurance, Land Bank Life Insurance, all of them, no clean audits, and they were late. Post Bank, we can't even know what's going on. Property Management Trading Entity, they were late, and the audit said, not good. Daletso TVET College, they were late, and the audit said, whoa, what a mess. Then you have unemployment in the UIF, they were late, and we don't know. These four, including Denel Vehicle Systems, and the Post Office, they just said, none of your business. It's none of your business where the money comes from, where it gets spent, what assets we have, who we owe, who owes us. That is none of your business, South Africa. All right, so Competition Commission, there were some delays, but thank God, clean audit, at least one can go and see what's going on. Construction, Education and Training Authority, not looking good. Manufacturing Engineering, CETA, not looking good. National Housing Finance Corporation, not looking good. PetroSA, do I need to even say it? Obviously, it's not looking good, and there were delays. Then you have all of them, and so it goes on and on. Why does this happen in South Africa and it becomes such a norm that the president pats himself on the back because we haven't caught corruption in one project? Well, let me allow June Hlongwane, very smart, clear, eloquent podcaster, to say something about why this keeps going on.
Granted, these are very sensitive issues, right? You talk about past 30 years, no one takes for granted what has happened and where we come from. But I think it's time that we force them to start thinking about meaningful ways to be able to benefit, like I said, the broader society, not just a few 10% of the population who just so happen to be already skilled, already talented, and have close proximity to the government, right? Because that's not how you are able to effect the change. That's not how you move the country into the right direction. When the ANC went to meet President Donald Trump, it probably was the first time that the ANC was treated like an adult, especially in a global stage. Because prior to this, a small country in southern tip of Africa, they're doing things there. No one really paid much attention until they got to meet Donald Trump. Because what happened in that meeting was that it was accountability time, right? It was accountability. Ramaphosa was asked questions. What's happening in your country? People are being, hurt and murdered here and there. The crosses, the chant, all of these things were brought to the table. And to some extent, it was uncomfortable to watch because we realized that these people do not even take accountability for what they do in this country. It had to take a leader in another country to sit them down and say, but what does this mean, right? And of course, after that meeting, Ramaphosa comes back. I saw him laughing, giggling, telling the story, which means it hasn't really sunk in. Then we need to be the ones that treat the ANC like adults. We need to be able to force them, treat them like adults, even if it means pushing them over to the opposition benches. We need to start treating them like the leaders of the society. The ANC, they are leaders. They always say the GNU, we are leading, we are the ones. They must act like it. They must act like it. I find it so disturbing when Ramaphosa, whenever he speaks, whether it's SONA or even this question and answer session, where whenever he uses a benchmark, he takes 30 years ago. I'm like, even in business, if you work in corporate, you would know the way that business measures itself, it's the previous year or maybe June this year versus May in the same year. Because that's how you're able to effectively measure whether or not you are growing. Now, if you say 2025 versus 1994, you are going to miss the bigger picture, because it means that you're comparing yourself to 30 years later. So many things have changed, things have evolved. Then maybe there wasn't even smartphones, or I don't remember, but I'm just saying that this thing of Ramaphosa, every single time when he has to answer, he says, 30 years ago, what happened to measuring yourself to 2024? Why don't we look at the last SONA that you gave? What have you done since then? Because that's when you're able to connect the dots and pick up on these trends that keep affecting and bringing us to the same position year in, year out.
Well said. I can't improve on that. We need to start treating them like adults. Here's my biblical reaction. Because the sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. They start thinking evil is normal. They start patting themselves on the back for not stealing from one project. So it's up to you and I. And this is what we often do. We wait for 5 years to vote, which is good. We make a noise every day on social media. This is also good. But here's something I want to invite you to. When you go to the bottom, many of you are already on the comments on the other side with phase 1 and phase 2 on Prosperous South Africa. If you're not there, please go to the comments, click and go add your name there, because we are going to do something powerful, and we'll be doing something powerful at least every 3 months to just start treating our government like adults. Now, this is what I'll ask of you. If you'd like to receive an email, because when we move, there'll be a 72-hour window, so we run. What we're going to do is so powerful, you will wish you had thought of it. It's so powerful, but I need to announce it, and then we need to go in 72 hours. We are not the marching type, the noise-making type. We get things done. So, if you want to receive an email, you can use that Prosperity Reclaimed registration link there, just so you're on the mailing list and you'll get an email when it's time to go, because I need you to help on this one. Many people are on that list, but my team has told me that when you comment on them and tell them let's go, many are going to miss it. This is where you're going to come in. You're going to help me to activate the phase 1s when it's time to go, so that they are flooded with notifications and they can run over, and in 72 hours we've done what we need to do. Because when a sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. That's why evil becomes the norm when good people say nothing and do nothing. So, no man can serve two masters. Either he'll love the one or hate the other, or he'll respect the one and disrespect the other. You cannot serve God and Karl Marx. So, cling, cling. Don't just subscribe. Make sure your bell is rung. I like to see your comments, but I only see the comments of subscribers. So, ring that bell and let's make history together. Cheers.